What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Trevor Flame Racing Reviews. Today we're talking about INDYCAR at Portland. Sorry that I took a week break from recording my videos. I started school, senior year, baby. So I decided I'd take a week off from videos and get back in the swing of things. INDYCAR had that natural week pause, so I took a natural week pause while I started school. How can you watch this race this weekend? It's August 10th, 3 p.m. on Fox, of course. It is must-see television, so watch the race. With that being said, let's dive into my predictions for this weekend. As you know, I'm going to break down every team and driver that has entered this weekend, and I will give you a prediction on how many cautions, pole position winner, and podium. Okay, with that being said, let's start with Chip Ganassi Racing. Alex Palou heads into this weekend with a chance to clinch his 4th championship. I think he's probably going to do that because I think he's probably going to win the race. I think I think Alex Palou is I don't think there's a reason why he wouldn't win this championship this weekend, and I don't think there's a reason why he doesn't win out, honestly. Scott Dixon, obviously last year, crashed here on the first lap, but Dixon, I think, theoretically can fight for the win this year. He's in a Ganassi car. They always run well around here. Dixon is a secretly really good driver and fast driver around this place. I think a podium is definitely in the cards for Scott Dixon. How about Kiffin Simpson, who's having a great sophomore season? Unfortunately, crashed in the opening lap, took out Felix Rosenquist on the way in Laguna Seca. Bounce back from that, a solid top 10 would be a good day for Kiffin Simpson. And a little pause in this video, I need to tell you, after Portland on that Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to be making a video about the IndyCar silly season and where I think certain drivers are going to land at for the 2026 season. With that being said, let's dive back into what I think is going to happen this weekend with McLaren. Pato O'Ward is the only driver that can stop Alex Palou from winning the 2025 IndyCar Championship. He needs to stay within 100 points of Alex Palou after this weekend. He's 121 back right now. I don't think he's going to do that. So if you're Pato O'Ward, just get points and play second place this year. That's what you need to do if you're Pato. If you're Nolan Siegel, I think you're fighting for your seat. I personally don't see a world, if you're Nolan Siegel, how you're not fighting for your seat. Nolan, I think, is on the hot seat. Even though Zach Brown said he's safe, I don't believe it. McLaren's ruthless with their drivers. They're the Red Bull of IndyCar. Christian Lundgaard comes in 5th this weekend. He's had a very great season yet to get that win. I think if you're Lundgaard, who cares about a top 5 in the championship? Let's get the win. I think that is more beneficial for you than a top 5 in the championship, my personal opinion. Team Andretti, obviously Kyle Kirkwood's won 3 races this year, but he comes in 4th in the championship. He's really fallen off. I think Kirkwood's looking for a top 5. I think he wants to get his season rolling again, and I think he needs to do that. I also think if you're Colton Herta, you normally dominate one weekend a year. He's yet to do that this year. Is this the weekend where Colton Herta puts it together and dominates? Or if you're Marcus Ericsson, I truly do believe you're on the hot seat. So do you need to perform to keep your seat at Andretti, or do you need to perform to find a seat somewhere else? I don't really know, but I think if you're Marcus Ericsson, you definitely need to be thinking about performing because you need it for your seat, in my opinion. How about Team Penske? They've had really struggled this year, Joseph Newgarden in particular. It's time for Joseph Newgarden to get a result. I think last year he ran a solid 3rd place here. If the pace is the same, why not be on the podium for Joseph Newgarden? I think that's a realistic goal. They always run well here. And Will Power absolutely dominated the race here last year. If you believe what everyone's saying, Will Power's not going to be at Team Penske next year. It'd be nice to see Will Power get on that podium or a win one last time with Penske. And if you're Scott McLaughlin, you've probably been the fastest Penske driver this year, just not able to convert. It'd be nice to see Scott McLaughlin be able to convert this weekend. Now we head down to Rahal. Obviously, Graham Rahal and Louis Foster have been phenomenal in the qualifying, but they have not really ran a clean race. It'd be nice to see the two of them get a clean race in. And if you're Devlin DeFrancesco, I do think it's time to step it up because it is believed that he's paying for that ride, but his sponsors are Rahal sponsors. So is he actually paying for that ride? I don't know. I would say Devlin also has to be on the hot seat to keep that seat for 2026. AJ Foyt Racing rolls in with David Maluka's 10th in the championship and Santino Ferrucci in 12th. Is it possible for them to both be in the top 10 at the end of the season? Yes. Obviously, Santino Ferrucci was on the pole position here last year, so we know David and Santino are going to have quite the rocket ship this weekend. Hopefully, those cars can be in the top 5 podium and even pole position and win. You know, I'd like to see them in that area. I'm a fan of those two guys, so it'd be nice to see them two up there fighting for it. Meyer Shank Racing, obviously Felix Rosenquist is 6th in the championship, and Marcus Armstrong is 8th in the championship. It'd be nice to see them two be able to continue their form of qualifying in the top 10 and staying in the top 10. This has been their best season in IndyCar by far so far, and it would just be nice to see them keep that momentum going. Ed Carpenter Racing, obviously Alexander Rossi has been on a horrible form since the Indy 500, and I would really like to see him step up. My personal opinion is when this ECR contract is up with Alexander Rossi, he'll probably be out of the sport. I just think Rossi needs to step it up, and I don't see him doing that. Christian Rasmussen is racing elbows out, and he is not afraid to ruffle any feathers. He could easily become the new Santino Ferrucci here in a couple of years. I see Christian Rasmussen going for it, elbows out, and a top 10 finish, personally. Dale Coyne Racing, Rinus VeeKay, you can't count Rinus VeeKay out on a permanent road course. He is phenomenal. Rinus VeeKay is turning into quite the IndyCar driver. And for Jacob Abel, you're having one of the worst IndyCar seasons in the history of the sport. He really needs to step up his game to keep his seat, even though he's basically paying for that seat with his family money. But for Jacob Abel, I do think you're on the hot seat because there's definitely paid drivers that can pay just as much as you can that probably are better than you. Humco's Hollander Racing, Connor Daly. Connor Daly's had a real up and down season. I would like to see him finish these last 3 races on a high. It would be huge for his career, in my opinion. I think he definitely needs to do that. Stingray Robb, obviously paying for that seat, but has stepped up this year, but not the level we thought he would. So it's definitely going to be interesting what Stingray can bring in these last 3 races, especially on the last street permanent road course. I don't think these are his strong suit, but we'll just have to see what Stingray can bring this weekend. And last but not least, Prema. Obviously, Kyle Milot has been, and Robert Schwartzman have been stepping up and getting those results. I think it'd be cool to see both cars in the top 10 for Prema this weekend. I think that is a realistic goal that they could achieve. So that being said, that's how I broke down the field and what is possible this weekend. Now let's go with how many cautions. We're definitely going 1 on the first lap, 1 in the middle, 1 in the end. 3. 1 on the first lap, 1 in the middle of the race, and 1 at the end. A solid 3 caution race. That's what I'm feeling. Pole position, I'm not overthinking this. Alex Palou gets the pole. Let's not overthink it. He's also going to win the race. Well, let's not overthink it. Alex Palou, this is a pole and win for Alex Palou this weekend. We're not overthinking this. So pole and win for Palou. P2, give me Scott Dixon, and P3, give me Will Power. That's just how I'm feeling. Let me know down in the comments down below what you guys think. Thank you for watching. With that being said, see ya.